these two guys were together all the time. The other,
Happy birthday.
He's next door out here. He's your
I
neighbor
like
out
to
here.
have a big copy of that picture. They're
Don't see you
rough,
very
just
often,
because,
but I'm not around.
they're rough looking characters though.
He is gone.
It's a hard life out there usually. This little bee out there, that place we were at yesterday, but you can't tell. It's all really
She's not gonna get it. Put all the crackers on that cheese.
Oh, no, there's a box full in the car, there's a sack of them in the car.
Yeah, I don't know what Betsy's got her teeth and all this place so good. Back down here in this hall, you know, I'm not seeing it's one bad. And then all her grandkids on the other side.
That's really nice.
And she said, well, we have a crowd in the court when they all go swimming. There was always a crowd. Kids, little kids, and then they had a crowd on the and then after he died and everything, he was
Well, she fell one time, but she got, you know, pull the phone off.
Sudie, which
Call
one of you girls is a nurse? You? Do you work here?
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
you don't.
retired.
Oh, you
See,
retired.
I got 2 daughters as nurses and a daughter-in-law's a nurse. I guess when I get sick, nobody wait on me.
It's hard to do, you know, they for anybody. And yelling at you.
They won't let anyone help, probably.
They'll let you help.
She didn't volunteer.
Vita, there's a volunteer out there to help you.
If you volunteer somewhere, you better make sure there's
Wanda wants to help you do dishes. She wants to help anybody do dishes.
When's the last time you wore some teeth?
From us. When you come to celebrate your birthday.
You should look at it.
Whatever day it was.
Is that one the one St. Merle's or is that one?
It's got some good pictures.
Bill said, well, you're not.
No, I got it. You took coffee. Yeah. Sure look like
I knew if I went outside and looked at here, you might.
Maybe they should have remembered who was here.
Yeah, they might.
I had these people in here and I went out to the car when I came out and they dumped it. So it's not like I'm eating.
Who was your mother?
My mother.
yeah, that's
We're getting us up to the second
Mark. Oh, there is.
Already wants to get left out there?
That's it, like, they used to have to put grammar at school. 3 years.
Ron told them how I was not leaving.
That's more coffee.
Well, I didn't have a time set. Sometime Tuesday night. You got yeah, that's
I said, now she's pretty busy over at her house today. Howard come over a while ago.
She's what?
There she is. I've tried twice to get down
Here I am. Behind the camera.
And this is our cousin. She's already she lives in Harvey.
That's her name now.
She's from Henderson. This was her
Jerry, did you get all the crackers?
They're not all on there. There's two back right up here. They're already all
Now they sent her home. They gave her some medicine, sent her home. That happened this morning.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Drive at night, you know, care how you're
I didn't have nowhere to sit it out.
well, oh, let me sign. Let me sign.
We're gonna put this out and get on there. Walker,
We'll see you next time we get down here.
well, this is
They wanted to buy the rights to the thing so that you could sell it to anyone else after that.
Our suggestion is to somebody, some menu you have tried. So afraid I'm gonna be left out of some of it.
That's what he wanted to do. He surprised all the rest of us by getting the job doing it.
He said that he believed that he said it's If I get up, somebody will get my chair. Ron, Ron, come on, take this in there.
Would have been real close up.
The inside of her ear.
Someone would have been.
Yeah, we're staying.
You said it on
Oh.
that's the best kind if you're going to oh, that's right.
But you, what,
You're
what
the
the
one that's on
translate?
here. A bunch over there, a bunch over here. I think it's just don't start another one, and I'll start another one.
You're supposed to throw it, Wade.
In the mud, I'm done.
Can you ride that thing? Can you?
You tried that big one
If I had a, he's a, just behave yourself.
I'm gonna go home before I eat.
Some of that kraut salad.
That kraut salad's good. Wanda,
Where's she at?
I don't know.
some of these turnips.
She likes sweet potatoes?
I thought she went to live there. We keep making them.
I know she likes it. It's good. You'll like it. Here, Mary. Well, there's another whole pot over there. You want a few more? We're gonna fix some pizza. Can you? Can you make a whole pot? At the store. Sweet potatoes, hot potatoes, white beans, pork chops. We could do a big old meal. Everybody can know.
Somebody come and man, she gets with it.
Carl, she gonna eat no greens? Because of what you're doing.
Yeah.
You want some of these?
No, better not.
Why?
Very quick.
I got a sweater over here. Excuse me. Yeah, there we go.
You
got it warm for me.
Are you guys gonna stay there at the motel tonight?
Yes.
Are we going someplace for you?
Hey, go.
We gained 10,000 feet since we
See,
left
I
California.
came in here about 2 o'clock and there wasn't anyone.
It was a midnight bus.
I know.
That was, if anyone would get up. Somebody got me an update.
Shot down on the levee so low. Jack Crowley's bridge, Carl.
Gotta stay in the middle, so shit, I missed it. If I get on the right, I may be going the wrong way.
No stopping on the bridge. They don't want you to hit it. Be back over there.
There it is. Well, there's the Amazon runs more water in it than bigger whole river in the world or something like that.
You know, you expect the Mississippi to be bigger than that.
That's over a road or something.
There it is, Tennessee.
You see it out there about 100 yards, dude?
Spread way out.
Really not right there.
Stick this back here and see if I can get it. Oh,
Supposed to do it again.
we're just gonna sit here. I'm getting you two with your caps on.
We're gonna go up there and start this thing pretty quick.
Okay, go
We'll try
ahead.
and get all the way.
Caps are not even in there yet.
Do that little windshield. Push it along. What if they have a nest up there?
That's probably some kind of memorial, because those are flagpoles, aren't they? Probably Elvis Presley. Probably.
Well, there must be some kind of military
I was hoping he would blow the whistle again and reserve a video. See all these ducks?
Can you see them? Are you getting them? Turning upside down their tails. That's cute.
although these
Good evening again and welcome aboard the Island Queen. This is your Captain Charles Gilmer speaking. We're presently traveling down the downtown Memphis Harbor, once known as Wolf River. It was dammed off about 3 miles back behind us. Now it's a Stillwater Harbor, but it's still known as Wolf River. Cobblestones over to the left that you stumble down on to get to the boat. was brought across the Atlantic Ocean used as ballots for a sailing ship, then brought up the Mississippi River, placed out here on this levee by slave laborers, placed out here one at a time by hand. At one time, these cobblestones used to be covered with bales of cotton back during the 1800s. Now they're used for free parking, and the people that work downtown take full advantage of it. Business here to our left is Waterway Marine. Waterway used their fuel boats and grocery boats to take fuel, oil, grocery, mail, deck supplies, and crew chains out to the passing tugboats. All the tugboat captain has to do when he gets into the vicinity of Memphis, call ahead on his Marine band radio, place any order he needs, and Waterway will bring it out to him. This saved tugboats a lot of time and expense having to push into the bank and send their own crewmen without supplies. Waterway uses the Mallet, the Jeff T, and the Lord B to take the fuel flask out to the passing tugboat. They use the small red cabin boats, the Charlie E and the Robert S, to take out the smaller item, the grocery, crew members, and mail. The park in front of us to our left is one of 11 parks located on the Mississippi River. The name of that park is Tom Lee Park. The way Tom Lee Park got its name, back on May 8, 1927, Tom Lee was a black laborman who worked aboard a dredge 20 miles below Memphis. He was sent down to Helena, Arkansas on his motor vessel Zale to pick up supplies. On his way back, he passed and overtook the U.S. steamer Norman, a Corps engineer's vessel just being converted from a coal-burning boat into oil, so had additional weight of tanks on board. Also, to celebrate that conversion, they had more people on board than the certificate allowed. For one of these reasons or another, the boat was listing pretty badly. Tom Lee continued on upriver. He looked back over his shoulder once again before he rounded the next bend. He noticed that the boat has turned over into the middle of the river. Tom Lee turned his fishing boat around the Zale, went back. He is credited with saving the lives of a total of 32 men, women, and children from drowning. They named this park in his behalf. Tom Lee was a man that never learned how to swim, also some 4 years ago until he died. Pile of rock is here by the Little Brother Company. They were contracted out by the U.S. District Corps engineers to build this dike 17 feet high from the bottom of the river to the top. Once they completed, then the Corps engineers came in with the dredge Natchez and dredged out the channel here in front of us. Had their discharge pipe behind that pile of rocks, filling that area in with sand and silt as they pump out of the bottom of the river.
Get on up.
Not quite, did you?
30 feet of water here.
Either that or a hotel. Could be a hotel.
Pavement over to our former left used to be John, well, it still is John Diego Point, even though it's closed down right now due to the fact that Riverside Drive is closed down. They're planning on widening out Riverside Drive for a lot more traffic that'll be running on it due to the fact of the pyramid that's being built here in the city of Memphis. John Diego Point is a site you could pull off Riverside Drive and sit and look at the sunset across the Mississippi River. Also watch all the tugboat traffic come by. That area had to be sandbagged back in the year 19.
We're up to the top of that. Yeah, that's where the road is. And it usually goes up there every year.
The building in front of us to our left, just before that building is another park located here on the Mississippi River. The name of that park is Ashburn Park. It's another site you can come and sit and watch the sunset across the river. Traveling 47 feet of water. That building used to be the Holiday Inn Rivermont. The Holiday Inn chain started here in Memphis around 1940, would only become a chain of Holiday Inns around the world. The headquarters for the Holiday Inns located here in Memphis on Lamar Avenue. They sold that building in 1982 to a group of investors who wanted to convert that building into condominiums. The conversion went all right. They changed the Rivermont name to the River Mark, but they didn't have much success in selling the building. They went bankrupt, sold out to another group of investors who kept the River Mark name, converted the building back into apartments and rented out the building. They are doing pretty good right now. Traveling in 49 feet of water.
Water gets deeper all the time. Which way we're going?
That way.
I thought we was going west.
We just come before 3 of the 4 bridges here in the Memphis area. First bridge we'll go on today would be the Harahan Bridge, completed in 1916. The combination railroad and automobile from either side of the bridge. Those still overhang once held a plank roadway. That plank roadway caught on fire back in 1928. It was said it was caused from a spark of a train going across the bridge at that time. Fire department wasn't too enthused about taking their equipment onto a burning bridge, so they sit back and watch it burn. They replaced those plankings 30 days later, and that bridge was back in business. When traveling from Tennessee and Arkansas, you use this side of the bridge. Back from Arkansas into Tennessee, you use the other side. The railroad portion of that bridge is still used today. The center bridge is the oldest bridge on the lower Mississippi River, the Frisco Railroad Bridge, completed in 1892. It was condemned once they first built it. They didn't want to be liable for any lawsuit. They ran 12 steam locomotives across that bridge and found that it was still standing. That bridge is still being used today, 7 days a week by the Burlington Northern System. It's almost a historic landmark. That bridge is almost 100 years old. To our left, just on top of the bank, right on the edge of the bank, you see a white stone monument just behind the trees. A stone monument was put there to honor the Memphis monorails who stayed here to fight the 5 yellow fever epidemic here in Memphis. So many people either died or fled the city during that time that Memphis lost its name and charter around 1878 and one restored again to 1893. It was said the only thing moving during that time was the death wagon and the missionaries that stayed here to help fight the 5 yellow fever epidemic here in Memphis. Traveling 67 feet of water. There's also another park located here on the Mississippi River. The name of that park is Martyrs Park, traveling 71 feet of water. The bridge piers for these first 2 bridges, stones of these bridge piers, they was hand carved. Give you some idea of knowledge they had back in those days. The last bridge, the Memphis Arkansas Highway Bridge, Interstate 55, completed in 1949, opened up to the public to celebrate New Year's in 1950. It was built to replace the Harahan Bridge. Traveling 65 feet of water. Owens Building on the bluff to our left, Economy Boat Store. Economy does the same type of work as Waterway Marine. They take fuel, oil, grocery, mail, deck supplies, and fruit change out to the pass and towboat. The ramp you see running down in front of Economy Boat Store used to be a railroad ferry incline. Had a track barge and a steamboat called the General Pearson that pushed that track barge. When a train would come down this bank, the steamer General Pearson would line that track barge up with the railroad tracks coming down that bank. Unload the railroad cars onto the bank, onto the track barge. Carry 18 cars at a time. It would take across the river where there's wooden pilings sticking up out of the Arkansas shore over to our right. They would line that track barge over the railroad track coming down those pilings. Unload the railroad cars onto the bank. They would do this until the whole train has crossed the river. Once they completed the 2 railroad bridges, had no use for the track barge of the steamer General Pearson. Track barge is now being used as a dry dock located down in McKellar Lake. Steamer General Pearson had a crew on board. It was tied off to the bank over to our right. Their job was to keep the boat away from the bank when the river falls, move the boat up toward the bank when the river rises. They fell asleep on board one night while the river was dropping pretty rapidly. The river dropped from under the boat, left the boat dry ground, and the hull cracked. When the crew woke up the next morning, wasn't much they can do. The river began to rise again, raised that boat uphill in the cracks, and the boat sank right there in the river.
There's the barges.
59 feet of water.
See the barges?
Just on for the petroleum docks here in the Memphis area. The first dock will be going by today with the white storage tank is the ACBL dock, American Commercial Barge Line Terminal. They deal in heavy fuel oil, laying their own fuel here in the Memphis area. Some of the tugboats out here on the river have been converted from burning diesel fuel into burning this heavy fuel oil because it's a lot cheaper. Second dock we'll be going by is the Exxon dock. Exxon is such a large company, they own their own fleet of tugboats and barges, have their own refinery down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and name their tugboats after cities or states. Tugboat that works in the Memphis area is the Exxon Kentucky, a 6,600 horsepower tugboat. The Exxon Kentucky is in town today. She brings over 1 million gallons of different types of petroleum into Memphis every 10 days. She brings those 8 barges here in Memphis. She tie along beside the Exxon dock, pump those barges out through the pipeline into the storage tanks you see sitting on the bluff. It's then transferred in a tank of trucks and railroad cars. 95% of the petroleum comes into Memphis by tugboat and barge. Other 5% comes in by pipeline. Tugboat going upriver to our right, got some anhydrous ammonia barges. Got pumps on those barges that keep that ammonia a certain temperature to keep it from exploding. Got one of Waterway's marine fueling boats on the side of it. You'll get a picture of the Exxon Kentucky. First bring fuel into Memphis. Tugboat that's contracted out to the line oil dock is the Argonaut. A 1,900 horsepower tugboat bringing 2 barges into Memphis every 3 days. It don't take them as long as Exxon to bring those barges in. They don't have to go as far as Exxon. They only go down to Helena, Arkansas, which is about 50 miles south of here. Waxler Towing Company to our left, the building you see setting up on the bluff. Wax is one of the oldest companies here in the Memphis area. Mr. Waxler got brought in, so he sat down and built his own tugboat and barge. Began to go down to Texas himself and pick up his own fuel. Other self-service independent service station owners here in Memphis will ask Mr. Wax to bring fuel with them. What started out as a way to save money soon became his main business. Working in the river right now. Bravo Rock Terminal to our left, a new company got started here last year. Great rock and water. From New Orleans, Louisiana, all the way up to St. Louis, Missouri. Out down the Southern Coast, thanks to the family still around back and staying on the left from the river. Coast Guard job handle even navigation out here. That job is a market handler, couple of pilots know where to stay water. These boats are set up facing downstream, stay to the left of the green, to the right of the red. On the tail twin until you have safe water. We are running outside the channel. We don't draw as much water as tugboat does out here. Island Queen draws about 6 feet of water. Add 6 feet on what I've been giving you on this depth finder. We'll give you the actual depth of the river. Right now we're in 21 feet of water plus 6. We're actually in 27 feet of water. Walk across the river. Boat leads me to General P.T. Beauregard. Boat leads on the battle net. Had that small war that last strength stubber hold it up and you take on you. Oh, some of the part is, some of the pushing dangerous cargo. It might catch fire or explode. They do have to stop when they're taking on fuel. Sometimes you push into the bank. There's also another park located here on the Mississippi River. The name of that park is
This probably won't get it. Not for me. You're gonna have a different.
Yeah.
Yours is better.
Got a zoom too, so it's going
Do you?
right in. Yeah.
Pull that pyramid in.
Yes. That's Arkansas. Get him up there.
By the way, we are in the state of Arkansas and we 25 feet of water. Steamer Delta Queen, built in 1925, carries 125 overnight passengers. Steamer Mississippi Queen, built in 1970. Buoy in front of us. To the left of that buoy, there's a construction out in the water. Extends from that Arkansas bank almost out to that green navigation buoy. That is a rock dike, nothing more than a wall of rock put out here. That's the first floor of the channel over on the Tennessee side. When the current hit that dike, that was out along the channel, just keep deep enough for a towboat to navigate. One foot clear of the dike, flashes up and down the river.
Get a picture of you out there on the river.
Changes for it, being possible navigation. and strip and charge strip. Last bolt on the end of Bill Carroll, 65 passenger iron wheel. Use private parties on it. Folks are riding on the island, claim to do is bolt up something. Go on the cabin about this use for the light and strip and private parties that night. I want to hold on to something or somebody that we get ready to push into the dock in case you fumble a bit. You might even want to sit down.
My nose on the molasses, but anyway, it deprived the Union forces of those materials. It was his last ride. He left from this railroad station right over here, the old Poplar Avenue Railroad Station. My wife taught me better. 6 months after we were married, she laid a roll pin up beside my head, and I've been saying yes, ma'am, ever since. She says jump, I just ask how high. And you can't blackmail me because I told this story, because she knows I'm telling. She's been on these tours with me. Your ride is Handy Park, named after W.C. Handy, the father of the blues. And he's called the father of the blues because he took the music that had been sung on the plantations by the slaves, handed down the word of mouth from generation to generation. He put it on paper, made a record of it. That's why it's called the father of the blues. Of course, he wrote some good blues music. He wrote Memphis Blues, Beale Street Blues, and one more famous than that. Sing it to me, girl, sing it to me. St. Louis woman with all her diamond rings. Yes, he wrote the St. Louis Blues. Now, while he was in Memphis, he lived in this shotgun house.